Hello and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos. All right, Austin will join me later on the program. But this is what the show is looking like. And tonight, we'll be talking about the Okpekpe road race, the 10-kilometer road race that will be taking place in Benin City. May 27th, that's on Saturday, of course. The organizers have put so many things in place to ensure that it will be another huge success with them adding new innovations to the race. Also, we'll talk about NPFL, a wrap-up of all the games that were played at the weekend. The teams relegated, we already know them. The teams that are into the Super 6, we know them already. June 3rd, that's when it starts in Lagos. And also, we'll touch down on NPFL, what they did earlier today, consigning the ability to stream all games live for next season. So much more to expect from NPFL for next season. After a successful completion of the regular season, they move into the Super 6 to determine those that will be representing Nigeria at the continental stage and also the champions of the league. I will touch down on the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. Yes, they won their opening game against Dominican Republic, but the task now is to see how they can beat the Italians that no one was actually looking at. But after that game against Brazil, beating Brazil, scoring 3 goals in 45 minutes against Brazilians, then people are watching, and of course, every country, they are taking note. We'll also talk about the Federation Cup, the round of 16 for the men games going down from tomorrow. So much more to talk about on the program. Of course, Austin is ready to join me from London.
Yes, probably greetings to you, Cecilia, and shout out to everyone joining us on the show tonight. Always an action-packed talk of sports. It's good to be on the show, Cecilia. So much happening right here in England. I'm sure you guys know Manchester City, champions of the Premier League. They are still in the running for a treble this season. Fans of the Gunners in the United Kingdom, they feel burned. You know, they thought Arsenal could have, gotten something out of this season. But others believe that it's just learning curve for the Arsenal. But back home, I'm glad that we're still talking about the Okpekpe 10-kilometer international road race. What a story, 9th edition. I was there when this started, and I must commend everyone that has been involved with this international road race. It has grown to the gold status, and it's still doing so well. Deserves, commendation, Cecilia.
And of course, it's a whole loaded package for us tonight on Sport Tonight. And it's a Tuesday, so Kende Idris is right here in the studio. Kende, it's good to have you join us.
It's good to be here. It's good to, know there's something indigenous. I think sometimes ago we're celebrating the Lagos City Marathon and how the growth went. Probably, at that period, we left, this time for the Okpekpe race. And it started with, I think the name for me is actually very unique. I love something that has to do with the moment you hear it, you look for the roots, the region, where Okpekpe sounds very Nigerian, and we love it. And the fact that the growth has been very beautiful, and we're here today. It's good to share time with you and Austin.
All right, so let's start off with this one, talking about the Okpekpe road race in Benin City, Edo State. Of course, it's not just tourism they are trying to introduce this year, but the fact that every runner, as long as you're running, you will get a certificate, and you can actually print it out with your picture at the end of the race. So that's one of the innovations the organizers are trying to put into this year's event. There you have the shirt for the race for this year. Of course, one of the sponsors where the organizers visited the office to actually present it to them and also talk about the things they intend to do this year. But first, let's listen to the promoter of the race, talking about Mike Itemangbo, telling us the new innovations they are adding this year. Before we talk about how they intend to actually use this race to groom young talent, long-distance runners from that same region.
This year is going to witness a new concept. And the new concept is going to be that the beefs and everything are coming from Dubai with the chips and everything. Because over the years, we find out that people are running. They say they have chips, but it's never captured. And as a gold label event, the beauty of it is that sometimes the media say, they say no local people, why foreign people? But we are doing a local event, international event, and we're bringing elites. The truth of the matter is that if the local Nigerian people are able to make the time, they become elites. So when people are looking at where do we get elites, They'll say, oh, look at that Nigerian guy that ran this. So this is what we have brought to the table. And for individuals, tourists, for them, it's also a privilege that after each race, they can print a certificate. They can go to any marathon in the world and say, I've run a gold level race before. So this year, that's what we're introducing, including photographies. So once you match the time, you match the step in and step out, your pictures are captured, you go online, you see your result, you can print pictures of you live throughout the event. So that is the major thing we're introducing in the road running this year, and I believe that we are trying to create a platform for tourism. We visit the Oba of Benin and look at the return artifacts. The return artifacts today are beautiful things that people want to see. They get to Auchi, they go to that university there, they see that there's a modern university in what they classify a village, so that they see that what we have in Nigeria can compare with whatever they have abroad. Nigeria is not that laid back in terms of technology and what have you, but it's just because people have not been able to see.
A whole lot happening on May 27th. Austin, over to you on this one.
Of this one so well, and let me teach Kende Idris, because I was taught from the source how to pronounce, that name. It's Okpekpe. Okpekpe, International Road Race. My broadcasting mentor taught me that, and it's stuck, I listened to Mike Itomagbo, and once again, it highlights the power of sports, not just to transform lives, Cecilia, but to add to economic gains. Yeah. We're talking about Okpekpe, a small village in Edo State. We're not talking about Benin. We're not talking about a village that probably nobody will know it or talk about it in so many years. But for 9 years now, we've been talking about it because of sports, Yeah. So this is a good form of promoting tourism. And Michael Tomago talked about it, that when, the international competitive audience comes, they will see that Nigeria is not really what they see in the international media. That it's a beautiful place. And you need to run that race and see the terrain. It's so beautiful, Cecilia. Yeah. When you stay up the hill and see how it is carved, how it is cut, is fantastic. So shout out to everyone involved in this road race. I just hope that it keeps getting better and better, and we'll use it as a model, as a yardstick for sports development in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's what they want to see. I mean, new innovation actually coming in here at Kende, and that's something we are really happy about concerning the Okpekpe road race.
Exactly. Before I go to, new innovations, let me tell Austin that before we came on air, myself and Cecilia were going through the name. As much as Cecilia is from that region, but that's the beauty I was talking about. Do you know that just pronunciation of the name can get people to want to come down? I want to hear from the natives how the name is being pronounced, because this is a gold label marathon.
Yeah.
And also growing up, because I grew up with the military setup where they have a 10 kilometers every year. Talking about the Air Force in Lagos right here, right there, the Air Force Base PWD. 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers is one of the most beautiful way to introduce young and coming marathoners into marathon. It feels like, it's just here. Yeah. And then you go from 10 kilometers to 21 kilometers before you get into 42 kilometers. That is an easy way to ease you into marathon. So it's beautiful. I've been hearing Okpekpe since, first division, first edition, second edition. And for reporters, it feels like, okay, we're just reporting something, not knowing that we're growing in time with something that will become a world-class, race. And that is what it is right now. And I love the fact that for the outside world, they are learning more about Nigeria. And what Mike said, I think everything in that caption is just beautiful. Number one, as individuals, there is a whole lot for you to take home. As outsider who is just looking in, there is also a whole lot. And then if you are covering as an outsider, talking about foreigners, you can tell your wards, your people, that this is something I've learned. And for those who come all the way down, trust me, the stories you will take back is way more. I can remember recently some people saying, if you come to Nigeria or Africa, the stories you hear abroad of flies flying around, a person's face is not true. There is a whole lot of technological know-how right here. And that's what Okpekpe, this is what you do when you bring in things to that native. Austin said it's not Benin, it's not Auchi,
even Ekpoma.
It's not Ekpoma. It is Okpekpe, right?
Okay. All right, I mean, that's not the only thing that happened during the presser on Monday. Also, they were talking about the fact in that the 4 communities in Ora, around that community, talking about Owan, where you have so many communities around, they also want to try and see how they can identify long-distance runners, picking them from schools, having a pre-trial race, and those that are able to get the best results, they will be sponsored to compete at the Okpekpe road race. And this is what one of the sponsors, CSR, is actually trying to do to ensure that, yes, young athletes are actually groomed at that level to compete at the Okpekpe. It's going to be 1.5 kilometers, not as long as the Okpekpe, but that will definitely help them to prepare for that race. Let's take a listen to Ayonsi Unogbu talking about this.
If we can find the next, Jaya Bebakos, the next Osime, the next, Kenya keeps producing, Kenya and these East African countries, top marathon winners, gold athletes. I'm sure there's somebody in those states that can win those things. I'm sure we have a Usain Bolt somewhere between Owa, Auchi, Benin, somewhere, and if more people were doing what Mike was doing, we'll find those talents. And the same way Clement Westerhoff came and discovered some of these footballers back then, few people rather, are doing that in Nigeria today. And you cannot wait for government. We've gone to 4 different communities around Sabongidara, Homora, Emeora, and other parts of Ora. And all the schools that they've taken from the schools themselves, working with the sports council, identified the athletes in those schools. It's by volunteering. You can't force people to run. And they've come out, and for every school, they found up to 50 students that believe that they can do this. And so we will have mock races per community for each community and pick the best on that day. There's a finish line and we'll see the best. We'll all witness it. And all those that run in a certain time will now be qualified, if you like, to take part in the main race, because it's 10 kilometers in the Okpekpe race. So if you can't do what we're setting for them in Ora, then you shouldn't come and run a 10-kilometer race. And so we will find those students from there, and anybody who is willing to participate and can meet the physical conditions will be from OMA, will be sponsored to take part in that race. And so that's what we plan to do, and that's how it will work. Now, for doing this continuously, again, if you start anything, even if we don't want to continue, I suspect that next year they will call us and say, where are these people that came last year? They don't disappear, so we'll continue. So, like I said, to the extent we can keep doing it, there's no point starting something then stopping, which is why we didn't start until we knew we were ready to continue.
Continuity, that's what it's all about. Austin, I'm happy about what they are trying to do in Sabungida Ora, because those 4 communities, and they are not just picking any runner, they're going to pick them from schools. And so if they're able to get as much as 100, then they can actually go ahead and compete in the race. I mean, this is another idea that is really good to actually groom young talent from that community.
It's lovely, Cecilia. We're not just organizing a road race, they are empowering communities. And if you check, that's part of was one of the SDG. We can use sports to ensure that communities are empowered. And I love this so much because they are thinking beyond just bringing people to come and run. They are trying to get innovative. They are thinking, they're saying, look, what can we do differently? How can, bringing all the road race to these communities, how can it, enhance it? How can it get the people enlightened? What can we do so that right after the race, we can start getting people talk about this thing and feel the impact? I always talk about the win before the main action.
Yeah.
This is how you win. And you can see the race is on the 27th of this month. And we're already talking about it. And partners are coming. More people are getting involved. Communities now are getting involved. And that's how it will keep getting better and better.
Yeah, that's the way it is. So let's leave the race now. I know we can spend the whole show talking about Okpekpe Road race, the 10 kilometers gold labor race, taking place in Benin City, May 27 on Saturday, as Austin mentioned. Of course, the mock race, the pre-trial is on the 25th, which is on Thursday for those athletes from Sambogida Oral community. All right, let's talk about this one. Yes, NPFL is going to get our attention right now, Austin. I mean, when you look at the last day, Doma United just couldn't hold on to get that ticket. Sometimes experience is a whole lot. You need lots of experience really to be able to get something out of it. And it was just, well, let's see the result first. We'll run through the result and then we'll tell you what really happened on the final day, match day 18, where they wrap up the whole league. Once we have that, we'll just run through the result and also tell you those teams that have been relegated. But while we're waiting for that, you know the teams that have been relegated, of course, Wiki Tourists, Nasarawa United, and of course you also have Dakada. After 4 seasons, I mean, consecutively, they've been able to manage, but then they've gone down. Academy Warriors also are the teams that have gone down from the NPFL 4. And of course, you have the Super 6 teams. Those Super 6 teams, Benin Insurance, Rivers United, and of course, you have Lobby Stars. Sunshine Stars made it after a slow start to the season. And you also have Enyimba. Remo Stars are the teams that completed that. Okay, there you have the result. Just quickly run through the result of what happened. Match day 18, the final day of the Bridge League of the Nigeria Premier League. So match day 18 start with Group B, where you have Rangers and Rivers United ended in a draw. The game between Wiki Tourists and Lobby Stars. Lobby Stars, of course, they lost to Wiki Tourists on the final day, so Wiki Tourists had to go down on a high. Abia Warriors and Doma United. This was the result that changed the whole clause for Doma United. 2-0, they lost. Sunshine Stars and Dakada. Of course, Dakada having been relegated, they had nothing to play for. They lost 3-0 to Sunshine Stars. Bayelsa United and Niger Tornadoes, of course, the results makes no meaning to any of them because they stay on in the league. Let's move to Group A, the results you have. Bender Insurance, of course, from that Group A, recorded their 10th draw of the season. Yes, their 10th draw of the season, 8 wins, of course. It was a draw against Nasarawa United, more like a send-forth for Nasarawa United, who have also gone down to NNL. Okay, these are the playoffs at teams in Group A. You have Benin Insurance, Remo Stars, and Enyimba. By virtue of the fact that Remo Stars beaten Kwara United 4-0, they had to go up because Enyimba and Shooting Stars, that game ended goalless. So there you have Group A teams for the playoffs, which is the Super 6 of Nigeria Premier League. Okay, and in Group B, if we can quickly see that, that's where you have Rivers United, Lobby Stars, and of course, Sunshine Stars completing that. Now, the final day, yeah, we weren't expecting so much fireworks, but it was going to be between Remo Stars and Enyimba. Then we see one team from Group B would have been able to sneak in, which was Doma United, but it just didn't happen for that team. On the final day, your thoughts on that?
Yes, on the final day, I was having my eyes on Aqua United also.
Okay.
Aqua United still stood a chance to come in through the back door. Plateau United had already fallen by the wayside. But I was, looking at how Remo Stars could hold their own. All I thought was, okay, Remo Stars do enough to just take a place. But I never knew they would even go as far as, becoming, the second team in that Group A. And for Bendel Insurance, I think the draw is just good enough for them. They've already qualified before the final day. Yeah. But staying unbeaten all through the season, talking about the regular season, I think is the beauty, one of the beauties you can take away from their brief season, regular season of the NPFL 2022-2023. And for Enyimba, sometimes these big teams, this is where everybody that qualifies should be scared of a team like Enyimba. This is at a level where all of you have gone back to zero points. There is no point for any team right now because, you all stand equal chance. And then if you go to Group B, Rivers United had already staked a claim. Also, Lobby Stars. But for the final, spot, I think Doma United, you said something that was very marquee, experience. I think that is what sustained Remo Stars. Remo Stars have been here before, and they understand what it takes. You need to be dogged, you need to be tough, and mentally very tough. Doma United have learned that, but I saw, from their Twitter handle, we stand together very much united, and we go again. Yes, they will go again because they have sustained their time in the NPFL. I want to see them, come back and do so strong. So the final, they give us a lot of beauties. And for the relegated teams, I don't know, Nasarawa United, maybe to an extent, so painful for me because Nasarawa United look like those teams that can ruffle feathers, of those big sides. For Academy Warriors, they just came and then they've gone back. And then you go to the other group, talking about Group B, Dakada, and then Wiki Tourists. Wiki Tourists, there is always a way Wiki Tourists touch me personally because I spend time in Bauchi State, and I know how they adore Wiki Tourists in Bauchi. So whenever they are up there, the entire state feels like there is something more, beautiful happening to them. When they go down, it's a gloomy, gloomy sight right there in their football. So Wiki Tourist going down, I think it's sad personally also because, and for Dakada, Dakar came, beautiful team, and then now they had to go down. I don't know when they will return, but it's always a good one to see Dakar play football.
Yeah, it's actually nice. At least one club from one state. We can be having two.
I think that's discussion for another
day. But I think it's time for us to go on a break. When we come back, of course, Austin will take this from me, talking about NPFL and also what the IMC and the NPFL wants to do for next season. That will get our attention. Austin, record-breaking Benin Insurance went through the abridged version of the season unbeaten, but then 10 draws, 8 wins, and your Doma United, they couldn't make it to the Super Six.
I know that's football for you, but for Benin Insurance, fantastic display, commendable, laudable, and it's a testament of what you sow, you reap. And I keep saying this over and over again. I'm in London. I watched the entire Benin Insurance. Sometimes I'm on split screen monitoring Benin Insurance and Remo Stars because these clubs provide live streams. It's as basic as that. Just ensure that you are doing something different for football. And it's not a big deal. Every match day, Benin Insurance and Remo Stars, I want to single out those two teams and tell other teams in the NPFL, particularly big teams such as Eimba, Rivers United.
Rangers.
What does it Rangers. What does it take to just have an official YouTube channel and show your games? Now, do you know why Benin Insurance was this good? The players know that they have visibility. People are calling them. The Benin Insurance Eimba match, I watched it, about 7,000 persons were watching. Yeah. How many of that number do you think was from Nigeria? So the people in diaspora, particularly Edo State Indians, they are now connecting with Benin Insurance and the state through football, as basic as a live stream. Same with Remo. Now everybody's saying Benin Insurance, they went unbeaten because when Imade scores, somebody calls him all the way from Germany, from Italy, saying, we saw what you did, fantastic, you are playing well. Scouts are watching, coaches are watching. Just a simple live stream. It doesn't cost arm or leg. And there is Rangers, there is Rivers United, there is Eimba, big teams in the NPFL. They just go out there with one camera to go and shoot games. Now, Benin Insurance referees also understand that they are being watched. So they behave themselves. And I like what the IMC they are doing, confirming the live streaming of games for next season. And they're bringing in technology into it that the NPFL will be the first league in Africa to use that AI technology for live streaming of games. It's as easy as that. So people will come and invest and see that, yes, you mean business with your football. Now, you know what? Let's listen to the IMC talking about the developments that we should be expecting from next season.
Players should be the focus, not the administrators. When people leave Nigeria to go and play in other countries, minor countries, people wondering why they're going there. So I don't want to mention names of countries for diplomatic reasons. Some countries will find out, why should Nigeria footballer go there and play? But because the system is not good enough, the system is rotten, they just have to look for other opportunities. Ever lowly the country may be, as long as they pay better than what we are doing here. Meanwhile, Nigeria has more money than those countries. We are about more than 200 million people. We have the market, yet players are not getting what they should get. So our target is that a footballer in Nigeria must earn the least 1 million naira per month, the least paid. So that we will now attract clubs will attract foreign players. In those days, the likes of John Benson, Lotis Boateng, the Ghanaians that came to play here, it was Ansar, all of them. I remember when the Imba was prosecuting their CAF Champions League, that's the Joseph Frimpong. All of them are foreigners. But how many foreigners you see today? Even Nigerians don't even know the name of their players. Yes, we don't know the name of our players. Because the system needs to move for the players to be recognized, for the players to be visible.
Gentlemen, do not take this with you. There is no need for a man to run from risk. If you meet consultants, if you meet brilliant people, they will tell you, manage the risk, mitigate the risk, do everything. Risk is a way of life. Embrace risk.
That's right. That's what it is. We need to take the risk to develop football in Nigeria. Ken Idris, let me pass it on to you. We're expecting the Super Six, but I like the fact that the IMC, they are beginning to think, and that's what I've been saying. We need to reflect. They're bringing in private organizations into it now. It's about time we make football business in Nigeria.
Exactly. It's as simple as the way you put it. I remember the interview of the captain of Sundowns some years ago, and the guy said, I walk the streets of South Africa and I hear youngsters like 5 years old, 6 years old, chanting my name, take pictures with them. I'm not working with Entori, I'm just working as a regular guy. And I hear all of these fans, and what comes to my mind is the fact that they watch our match every day. For them to know my name, my nickname, and they call me captain of the Sundowns team. That is how well we are visible. And for that reason, I'll go on the pitch every day and give my last breath. Because these guys adore me, they idolize me every day. And Benga said something, Elegbele, he said, visibility. Do you know your players? Trust me, while MFM is the darling club of Lagos State, some people do not even know the captain of MFM. That is, they just know, oh, MFM, they won and all of that. What is the name of the captain? What does he look like? It's a problem. How can you not know the players of the teams you love so well? Look at today, almost the entire country knows Imade because of what Imade does. Everybody knows Ogumodede, the coach of Remo Stars, because there is something on TV for you to see. And that is what it's about. Football today, sport today, it's about visibility. You hear a single player having followers, having streaming about 40 million, 80 million thereabout, because everybody knows what he does. So they want to follow even more to his private life. And that is what we should do. Trust me, these things are simple. And Elegbele went further to say, we have the numbers. Somebody, Cecilia said, some countries I won't mention. We have about 250 million people. And we cannot even make proper business from all of these numbers. Talking about football, we love our football. Trust me, if you give people reason to follow, they will follow every day. And that's what it should be. Live streaming, come next season, or whether it starts even with the Super Six, trust me, we are already waiting. It is what we should do. TV is what should go with sports. And when you do that, we're mentioning Esebrume today, we're mentioning Gloria, we're mentioning a lot of names. It's because we know what they've done. Tobiloba Amusa and all of that. If you don't know them, sometimes they will just mention and be like, what have they done? And even if they are up for election voting, you would even vote for somebody you know their name so well, because you feel, if I don't know your name, then you've done nothing. Otherwise, they are doing something, but we're not just putting it out there for us to see. So I think our football has gotten to that point where so much talk should be on, being on TV or being on live stream. And I love the fact that we're doing this. And the IMC, maybe I should take this opportunity to say, what you've done in the regular season of 18 matches, trust me, is a huge thumbs up from Keide Idris, and I want to see more. And with this that you said, live streaming, if you go ahead and do that, man, you've won a huge fan over.
Okay, all right. How many percent will you give them? But then we saw pictures of former players right there on the screen. Some pictures of Yakubu Ayegbeni. Of course, you remember him. You also saw Tijani Babangida and, of course, Daniel Amokachi. These guys were also there to support the interim management committee of the IMC and also NPFL. You know, what the innovation they're doing. And, of course, they're throwing their support behind these particular innovation. They're trying to use technology to ensure that, yet, all Nigerians are able to watch their teams across the country.
Marketable-wise, the players will be marketed, the clubs will be marketed, and the country, the league will be marketed. I think that's what is very important, and football had come to stay, that football is business.
A player can be able to play and be seen all over the world, not even in Nigeria. And if you have clubs who want a player, or you have agents who are looking for players, they can easily see in whichever country they are. And we back home here, who cannot go to Wari or Maiduguri to watch a game, we can be able to watch it on our phone, our laptop, which is a very good development.
For these young boys, the team here in Nigeria, I think it's good for everyone in Europe can see the Nigeria League is changing. You watch South African League, you watch the Namibia, those Zambia League, but you never watch Nigeria League. But this why I think it's a good platform for everyone in Nigeria to watch Nigeria live, Nigeria Premier League live, and for the players as well, it's good when you knew already you're playing live football, everyone is watching you, is bringing the best out of you.
Yeah, just seeing these players supporting the NPFL, it's something to really cheer about, Austin. I mean, we want these kind of things. I remember, I can't remember who said that when you have Nigerian players who are towards in the twilight of their career, they can actually come home and play football. And then that will even make people want to go to the stadium to see them.
Cecilia, look, Yakuba Egbeni, Tijani Babangida, and Daniel Amokachi, if they go back to Yakuba Egbeni is adored at Everton.
Yes.
And people know him because they watched him. Tijani Babangida is a legend at Ajax. They know him, they love him because what he did. Same with Daniel Amokachi, Everton legend, Besiktas of Turkey, he's been there, done that around Europe, and it's because of the visibility that football gave them. And that's what we're saying. We don't just want to start calling out states and the shenanigans they do that made them, look out. That even if you take one camera to a match venue, people will start shaking because they want to intimidate a away team, intimidate the fans, intimidate even the officials. But our football won't grow if we're not ready to take risk. And that's what that man was saying. Risk is uncertainty that can affect outcome. But you need to identify it, monitor it, and mitigate it. And it's about time we do that for our football. As I said, the two teams for me this regular season is Bendel Insurance and Remo Stars, because they did what I think to some extent Shooting Stars trimmed about 2 or 3 of their matches. But for Bendel Insurance to go 18 matches, all 18 match days, same with Remo Stars, letting people see what they do. I'm in London and I watched what happened on match day 12 with Gombe United, that incident that led to the brouhaha. I saw everything right here in the comfort of my house in London. That's the level, that's the standard for our football, and everybody should wake up. Change is coming.
Yeah, it's coming, and I hope they will all embrace it. And next season, we get to watch all our games live, streaming live, wherever you are. You're able to watch any of the teams you're supporting for next season. Super 6, of course, is starting June 3rd. We'll see who will be crowned champions at the end of the season. All right, let's move over to Federation Cup, of course, the round of 16. Start off with games that will be played in the round of 16. Bendel Insurance are in Oka in Anambra State. Well, they will be taking on another team. If we can have that right there. If we can have that, just quickly run through the fixtures for the Federation Cup, just the games that will be played in the round of 16. From the end of most of the teams, especially those NPFL teams that were playing against each other. I mean, the ones that are there and the ones that are also going. But when you take a look at the Federation Cup and what has happened so far, some teams that are out, teams like Aqua United, but Bendel Insurance and Heartland will be in action in Anambra, in Oka. You have the Sunshine Stars and EFCC will also be in action. And of course, you also have Warri Wolves and Gombe United. Insurance Feeders and Lobby Stars will also be in action. That's the round of 16 fixtures for the men. So flip over to other games that will be played. Plateau United and Ingas will be in action. You also have Nasarawa United and Kwara United. Ebedi, they're still here against Rangers. Rangers will have to be very careful. And Doma United and Edel will also be in action, and that game will be in Abuja. So this is what the round of 16 is looking like. They're trying to see if they can get a ticket into what? Into the quarterfinals, which is really key for most of these teams. From what happened to teams like Eimba, Rivers, and of course, Aqua United, some teams will have to be very careful. Doma, for instance, will have to be careful against Edel. Ebedi will have to be, Rangers will have to be careful against Ebedi.
Yeah.
That's another
I think
team.
that fixture, Doma United versus Edel, particularly, I've got maybe a sentimental attraction to it because I feel this is another chance for Doma United to be at the continent. Yes, you don't have to struggle with all of the Super Six guys. If they go ahead, beat Edel, get into, you know, the final eight.
Have a long way to go.
Yeah, it's a long way, but it's just 4 games. Get into, you know, the quarterfinals, get into the semifinal, and then you talk about, you know, the final. So it's very doable, and they've showed us that they can play good football. And this is the FA Cup. One of the things why, one of the reasons why we love the FA Cup, or you can call it the Challenge Cup, the former name,
Federation Cup.
Federations Cup, is the fact that wonders happen right here.
Yeah.
The cup comes with its own kind of word, so there is no big name and all of that. Like you just mentioned, Ebedi and Rangers. Rangers need to be careful. And for the ones that are, you know, NPFL, I think that's, you know, games that people would have their eyes on. For Plateau United, be wary of Ingas and other teams. If you're a top team and you're playing one of those lower division teams,
Insurance feeders and lobby stars, for instance.
When a pig is playing right there in its dirt, you don't want to join that pig. You need to be careful.
And also, Sunshine Stars have to be careful of EFCC. What will happen to them?
Because
EFCC,
they can get arrested.
Yeah, giant killers, Austin. That's what you say.
Cecilia, it's the upset cup, you know. I love auditing, you know. That's what this job is all about. When I come here to talk about the things that people didn't expect to happen, you know. But an interesting fixture for me is Nasarawa United versus Kwara United.
Yeah.
Don't forget the story of what happened on March day 17. It was Kwara United, that win that made Nasarawa to relegate. So we're going to see beautiful football when they meet, you know. But I just hope that at the end of the day, they all play for the love of the game. I love the Federation Cup, and we just hope that it will give us fireworks and things to talk about.
All right, before we go, let's touch down on the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. Of course, we expected so many goals against Dominican Republic because when we finish watching the Falconets in Ghana, you know, playing the Waffle Beat tournament, 7 goals against Nigeria Republic, we felt, okay, fine, this is how you beat a team that you know you're superior. You know, you're this superior team. But Austin, it didn't happen. It ended 2-1. And now the Italians, after what they did to Brazil, we are really afraid. Austin Eguavoin, the technical director of NFF, and of course, London Bosso, the coach of the team, they are really confident that, yes, this crop of boys do the right thing. They can get a victory against Italy on Wednesday night.
I think they can, you know, but shout out to the Italians. They did the unthinkable against Brazil. And that's why everyone is talking about Italy. Now, look, it's under 20, you know, and nobody should give me it was Dominican Republic. You know, they're making a debut, and look, when you play at the World Cup, you want to give your best. And these guys are young. They have raw talent. They want to show it. So 2-1, they can consolidate on that result. They can get better. I still have a problem with the tactical discipline in the team. But this is not the time to, you know, condemn the coaches because they have a big game. So let's just see what they can do against Italy.
Yeah, that's the show. You have to sign out. We need to go.
Oh, my God. When we're having fun, the show needs to end. Okay, that's it. We'll be back again tomorrow to talk some more sports. In London, I'm Austin Okonatman. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Kende Idris, as usual, thank you for being here.
It's always good to be here. And go the under 20 team of Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a fantastic night rest.